Hello and welcome
to Criminal Trials for Dummies.
I'm your host and well-educated lawyer, Matt McDonald.
And I'm Tyler, the dummy.
I'll explain the major elements of the criminal trial process to you.
And I will be here to help you understand what he is saying.
Criminal trials are a long and complicated process.
So, luckily for us, Matt brought it down to 5 simple steps.
As followed: the pretrial preparations, the prosecution presents their case, the defense presents their case, rebukes and closing statements, and the verdict.
Alright, man. Let's do this.
The pretrial preparations. Before the trial starts, the two sides of the case are being arranged. One side is the accused.
What and who is accused?
Obviously. The accused, also known as the defense, represents the person charged with the crime. They are fighting the crown to prove that the accused is innocent.
They're fighting a crown.
No, not a real crown, Tyler. This is a name for the prosecution, which is, with the power of the government, is, trying to find them guilty for the sake of justice, and attempt to win the case.
Okay, and how do you win the case?
Well, the accused is innocent until proven guilty, right?
Yeah.
But the Crown has the burden of proof, which means they're allowed to, and supposed to, prove to the court the defense is guilty beyond any reasonable doubt.
Cool, and how exactly do they plan on proving that?
With evidence and witnesses. In the pre-trial, they're arranging this for the rest of the trial later. And I'll explain a little bit that when it comes.
Okay. So, they prove it to the judge, then he smacks his hammer thingy, and it's over, right?
Well, don't get ahead of yourself, please. You actually forgot all about the jury, too. The jury is a group of 12 men and women that decide the fate of the accused. They must listen, observe, and take in all the case before they determine if the accused is guilty or innocent.
Okay, so my dad's a cop. Could he be on the jury?
No. Any person working in the justice system obviously cannot be a juror. He knows too much about criminal trials and what it means. That's why ordinary people are chosen at random to be in the juries.
After the jury is selected, what happens next?
The judge addresses the jurors and they choose a foreperson.
Alright, and the foreperson's the guy that reads out the verdict to the judge and... yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Once they've chosen the first person and both sides are ready, the trial begins. The prosecution presents its case.
How does the trial begin exactly?
Well, obviously, it starts with the opening statement from the Crown. They present the case to the whole court, and they summarize the evidence that they're bringing against the accused.
Why does the Crown go first? Do they flip a coin, or...?
The Crown goes first because they have the burden of proof.
Okay, so the Crown goes first and tries to prove the accused is guilty because the accused is already considered innocent?
Exactly. Innocent until proven guilty, which the Crown is trying to prove right now by bringing in witnesses.
Witnesses are people that saw the crime happen, right?
Pretty much, yeah. The Crown goes first to question the witnesses about what they observed of the crime. This is called direct examination.
Direct examination. Is there another kind?
Yes, there is. After the Crown finishes direct examination, the defense can question the witness to see if he is telling the truth. This is cross-examination.
When does the prosecutor finish?
After the Crown has examined all their witnesses and believes that they have proven their point, then it's the defense's turn. Defense presents their case.
So, Matt, how does the accused go about presenting his case?
First of all, the defense can bring in a motion for dismissal. This is where if they feel that the Crown has not presented the case well enough so far, they can go straight to the judge and request that it would be over by now.
So what does the judge do?
If the judge agrees with the defense, then he can conclude that the accused is not guilty. But if the judge does not agree, then the trial continues, and the defense has to prove their innocence.
How does the defense end up trying to prove innocence, though?
The defense presents a statement, which summarizes its case and how they're going to disprove the accusations of the Crown.
And how exactly do they plan on doing that?
Well, the best way to disprove whatever the Crown said is bring in their own witnesses to refute the Crown's claims.
Just like last time, right? The Crown does the directed cross-examination.
No. No, this time around the defense will do the direct examination and the Crown will do cross-examine.
Alright, so they both had their turn. Is it over?
Not yet, unfortunately. Please excuse this brief message from our sponsor, Old Spice.
Look at your project. Look back at me. Look at your project. Look back at me. You wish your project had me in it, but it doesn't. But you can have a good as project as ours with this. Old Spice Showtime Spray. It has a lot of this. And this.
Rebukes and closing statements.
So the Crown and the defense both presented its case. Should it be over?
It should be, but actually, once the defense is finished presenting its side, the Crown can rebut.
Rebut. What does that mean?
It means the Crown can contradict the evidence the defense just brought up.
Wait, so the Crown got two turns? That's not fair for the defense. Did the defense get another turn?
Luckily, or else that would suck.
Yeah.
This is called the surrebuttal, where the defense contradicts whatever they just said.
Let me guess. Surrebuttal is pretty much the exact same thing as rebut.
Yep, it just goes on and on and on and on and on.
Will this ever end?
Yep. Once it finishes the surrebuttal, either can close the case.
How does that work?
Okay. Once the defense has finished its surrebuttal and has called all its witnesses, they can close. But if they didn't call witnesses, the Crown can close.
What's the significance of closing first?
Well, when you close, that means you're presenting your closing arguments. This is where they summarize their side of the case. The prosecution tries to find that the defendant is guilty by bringing up all their evidence. And the defense tries to prove reasonable doubt, right? So they'll see the evidence that didn't quite make sense, that the Crown or they presented.
Alright, cool. So now the jury gets to decide.
Exactly. It is now time for the judge to give charge to the jury. Coming up next. The verdict.
So how does a charge to the jury work?
Well, the judge will describe how the law applies to the case, and then remind the jury about all that happened the whole trial, so they remember the evidence.
Then what?
Then they're taken to the jury room to deliberate.
Deliver what?
Deliberate. It's English. Deliberate.
I'm a dummy.
Well, they try to agree on the verdict. And if they don't agree on the verdict, and because they have to be unanimous, then it's called a hung jury. And that means the jury's replaced.
Does that mean they have to do the whole thing all over again?
Yeah. But most of the time they come to a unanimous decision.
Okay. Yeah. Then what?
Well, then they read out the verdict. The foreman stands up and says to the court, Tyler is found guilty of being a dummy. And it's over.
Wow. I really was a dummy, Matt.
Yes, you were. Oh, yes, you were. Well, this concludes this episode of Criminal Trials for Dummies. See you next time.